How do we unlock wisdom? Today, we are going to be reading a book called Giving Thanks. We are going to be referencing the Quran, and we are going to be making gratitude dragons. If you're ready, let's begin. Give me back my baby. Long ago, during the time of Prophet Suleiman alayhi salam, there lived two moms with their own cute little baby. One day, the two moms left their babies outside of their house, and while they got busy, one of the babies was taken by a wolf, and there was only one left. As the moms returned and saw this one baby remaining, they began to bicker and fight. One of the moms said, "That baby is mine." The other mom said, "No, that baby is mine." The baby couldn't say which mom was his. So people in the kingdom started to come. They listened to both of the moms complaining and trying to lobby for what is theirs. One of the moms would say, "He is mine." The other mom would say, "No, he isn't. He is mine." And nobody knew what to do. Finally, the people thought to themselves, let's go to someone who has wisdom. Let's go to Prophet Suleiman alayhi salam. They enter into his court where he is presiding. Prophet Suleiman alayhi salam says, "Ladies, please tell me what is going on." They told the story. They said, "Prophet Suleiman alayhi salam, we had gone out. A wolf came, ate our baby. Now there's one left, and we both believe the baby is ours." Prophet Suleiman alayhi salam listened to this. He looked to the moms and said, "Are you sure that both of you claim the baby as yours?" And they said yes. And he said, "Are you sure that neither of you are willing to give the baby up?" And they said no. So Prophet Suleiman did something. He asked his guard, "Guard, give me my sword." Seeing this, the moms got a little bit scared. He said, "Prophet Suleiman alayhi salam, what are you going to do with the sword?" Prophet Suleiman started getting close to the baby. And Prophet Suleiman said, "Well, if the two of you believe the baby is yours, I'm going to cut the baby in half and give you each a part." Now, hearing this, the mothers got scared. They said, "Oh my goodness." But Prophet Suleiman got closer to the baby, and finally one of the moms said, "Stop! No! Don't do it, please!" Hearing this, Prophet Suleiman alayhi salam put his sword back into his sheath. He went back to his court and he said, "We've got it. We have found the mom." He looks at the people and he says, "That mom, the one who was prepared to give up the baby for the sake of saving the baby, that is the mom." Now here's the thing. You and I go to school and we read books and we gain knowledge. Knowledge of math and science and reading and maybe algebra. But what Prophet Suleiman alayhi salam demonstrated wasn't knowledge. That was wisdom. And wisdom only comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is what we are going to be talking about today. We ask a question, not a small question, not even a medium-sized question, dare I say, a big question. How do we unlock wisdom? In order for us to understand that question, I gotta mosey on over to the library, or some like to say, La Biblioteca. Let's head on over. What is one skill that you have learned or are trying to learn this summer. Inaya and Ira from Canada said basketball. Miriam said sewing a dress and a hijab. I love it. Ilyas from Melbourne is learning horse riding. All right, very good. That's really good. Let's go to Ilyas from Melbourne. Assalamu alaikum, Ilyas. How are you doing, buddy?
Walaikum assalam. Good.
Okay, Ilyas, tell us about horseback riding. When did you start?
I started 2 years ago.
Do you have your own horse, or do you borrow someone else's horse?
No, I borrowed someone else's horse.
When you are horseback riding or learning how to horseback ride, do you do it on your own, or do you have a teacher?
I have an instructor.
Okay, very good. You guys, let's all give Ilyas a big round of applause. Ilyas was doing horseback riding, but I know some of you might be doing basketball. I have a question, and that is, can you crossover dribble? Now, for those that don't know basketball, crossover dribbling is when you take the basketball and you dribble it between your feet. And the truth is, just like Ilyas mentioned with horseback riding, you could probably do it. But if you have a mentor, if you have a teacher, you would learn it so much faster. And that is the value of a mentor. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us our prophets. Our prophets are mentors. They teach us how to live our life. Allah gave us the family of our prophet, the companions of our prophet. But among them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also gave us one man named Luqman. Luqman was not a prophet. But Luqman was so important, and the advice he gave was so valuable that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put an entire chapter in the Quran named after him. Surah Luqman. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةَ أَنِ اشْكُرْ لِلَّهِ. So before we go further, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this, indeed, we blessed Luqman with wisdom. Here's the thing. When we think about getting smarter, lots of times we think about books, we think about going to the library, we think about science and math and engineering, and it's like, oh, let's learn. Let me learn photography, let me learn horseback riding, let me learn astronomy, let me learn how to do knitting, let me learn how to do tie-dye. You can learn knowledge from a book, but wisdom? Allah is the one who gives wisdom. In Surah Luqman, this chapter, Luqman gives his son 10 pieces of advice. If we follow this advice, this allows us to unlock wisdom. So what's the first piece of advice that Luqman gives his son? First piece of advice that Luqman gave, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةَ أَنِ اشْكُرْ لِلَّهِ. We talked about this already, right? Allah blessed Luqman with wisdom, saying, be grateful to Allah. Why should we be grateful? Why should we give thanks? وَمَن يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ وَمَن كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. Luqman says to his son, be grateful. Why? Whoever is grateful, it is only for your own good. And whoever is ungrateful, then surely Allah is self-sufficient and praiseworthy. Luqman says to his son, be grateful to Allah. Why? Because you are the one who benefits from it. When you give thanks, we've all been there. That moment when nothing is going right. We feel anxious. We feel worried. We feel angry. It's normal. But what is the golden advice that Luqman gives to his son? He tells his son, be grateful. Now, in order to really take this to the next level, I think it would be valuable to make a dragon. But I can't do that here in the library. We gotta mosey on over to the laboratory. Let's go. We are going to be making gratitude dragons. This looks sweet. Like, I cannot wait to have this hanging in my room. And I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. All right, so on here, I'm gonna write some of my blessings. So blessing number 1 I'm gonna write on here is my mom. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today we looked at one verse from the Quran where Allah says that He has given Luqman wisdom. And in the first piece of advice that Luqman gives his son, he says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةَ أَنِ اشْكُرْ لِلَّهِ وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. Be grateful to Allah. For whoever is grateful, it is only for their own good. Whoever is ungrateful, then know that Allah is self-sufficient, praiseworthy. Give thanks. It is for your own good.